All right, Chris asked me if since he just got back in town, if I would run the meeting, and I'll do my best, but jump in if I miss something. So in accordance with the sunshine laws, I called the meeting of the Shade Tree Commission to order at 7:02 p.m. Mary is excused this evening. In attendance is Bob Hudak, Ellen Thompson, we got Stephen Galuli, we have Annie Schmidt, we have Chris Williams. Is anybody else there that I don't see? Okay.
Chris, where are you in heaven with that background or what?
He's in heaven. Yeah.
Just a foggy background there. That was one of the choices I had from WebEx.
So whoever we
You're
don't
gonna
see
make
is not excused, is that?
Well, they might come in late, but other than that, they would be considered absent, yes. Because I have not received correspondence from anybody else. And I did let people know, well, anyway, so that unless, Chris, you get emails that I don't know about, you can let me know later if somebody
I
else.
haven't checked my emails today. I'll check them right now.
Okay. All right, so we have the secretary report. I sent the minutes around to everyone. Again, Ellen, thank you so much for doing such a great job on the detail there. We've got really a lot going on, and I think it's nice to have that level of detail. It does take a little bit more time to read them, so I hope you guys do take the time to do that. Are there any questions, changes, corrections to the minutes? All right, then I'll accept an emotion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
That's Chris. Discussion? All
Yeah, I'm
right.
sorry, I was unmuted. I have a couple comments.
Okay, what do you got?
Let me get back over to that. It's supposed to be meeting. No, that's the agenda. Nope. Bear with me. Okay. Let's see from the top. Old business, I guess. We are under number 4. Vince Dominic, then underneath that is topics discussed. Next paragraph, and go all the way down to top of the second page, a 1-year tree survival maintenance bond. Yeah, so underneath that one, the last point, if trees fail after 1 year, I'd like to say within 1 year, because it's not after.
All right. So change the word after to within.
And let's go down to
Actually,
new biz.
I have a
I'm sorry.
question. I'm sorry. Do you mind if I just ask, since you?
No, please go ahead.
I put that in there because I thought that's what he said. But is that what he meant? Because if the trees fail within 1 year, why does it become the property owner's responsibility to replace the tree rather than the whoever the vendor was that planted them?
Why don't you read that part of the minutes so we can see hear what the minutes.
Let me see.
If the trees fail within 1 year, the township can require the owner of that property to replant those trees. I thought that's what he said. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
I'm sorry, you are right. However, let's just think about what he said.
If they fail within 1 year, then it's the responsibility of the developer or whoever it is that planted the tree.
So this is actually accurate for what he said, but yes. I don't think that the content.
I think the way Bob is saying it is just another way of saying what you've said there.
Oh,
Ellen, you're absolutely right on the paragraph above it, the 1 year survival maintenance. Yeah, I didn't read the second one that closely. However, I'm looking at the way this is written. So if trees fail after 1 year, the township can require the owner of that property to replant those trees.
That was my
Um,
question. Yeah, not why should the property owner be responsible for it? But
Yeah, I don't think that was something we discussed, was it? Did Vince say that what it should be? Because if we get an arborist, we're gonna be responsible. The township is after uh the 1 year.
so did he misspeak? Can we assume
I
he missed?
If this is what he said, yes. Because it's not going to be the property of the owner. This is within the right of way. This is something that the township will take care of.
But we leave it as is because that's what he said, right?
I think because it isn't correct, I think we should probably do one of those correction parentheses where you put the correct thing in. So that I think we should change owner to developer in this instance. Because it would be the developer's responsibility to replace those trees. That may be the owner, but it is the developer who would be on hook within the year.
Well, it's the developer's responsibility within a year. Yes. Yeah. Right.
Within a year. So for that second bullet point on the top of page 2, we will, in parentheses, take out owner, and in parentheses put, or in brackets, I guess is the proper way to do it. In brackets, put in developer.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that still make sense? Because we're saying after 1 year, the township now takes care of the tree.
But
But
if it's within 1 year,
if it's within 1 year,
So
Right.
we've changed that bullet to say, if the trees fail within 1 year, the township can require the developer of that property to replant those trees. That is a correct sentence.
assuming it was a developed property
True.
and not
True.
just the
Talking
tree.
about private properties, right?
No, but I mean, there were other trees planted, and there will be other trees planted other than just those sections of property that were developed.
Yeah.
We're talking about a private property, not like a park or something.
We're talking about the Hamilton Street corridor specifically with this
Right.
discussion. Yes.
Hamilton Street.
So
So,
It's all
so
really
if it's within 1 year, then it has to be replaced.
yeah.
within 1 year, it has to be replaced by the developer.
Right.
Right.
And if after 1 year,
After a year, then it's
then
responsible.
the owner of the property, which if it's the right of way, it would be the township, correct?
Right.
And
Correct.
all those trees are in the right of way.
Yeah. So is the one correction we made sufficient for clarity in these minutes?
Yes.
Can you just read it, please?
So the bullet reads, if trees fail within 1 year, the township can require the developer of that property to replant those trees.
Not require, shall require, shall require.
Yes. Shall require.
All right, that is also changed. Anything else at that point?
With the advent of a arborist coming on board, I guess it's assumed that all parties will agree that the arborist is the
That's a
decision
different
maker.
discussion entirely, Bob. That's not to do
Okay.
with correcting the minutes. So we're just correcting
fine.
right now.
Yep.
We could go on with all kinds of other discussions, but I want to stick to what we're doing right here. Does
That's
anyone have
fine.
any other comments or changes to the minutes from last month?
No, very good. Thank you.
All right, then we had Arnie had proposed acceptance. You want to amend that as amended?
As amended.
And Chris, you all right with that?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your hands. Everyone has raised their hands, none opposed. Okay, so the minutes are approved as amended. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report, and I sent that out to everyone. There were just two small two changes, two additions to the budget or to the fund. On February 28th, 2 reimbursements were received, one for a project at 14 Willow Avenue, and the second, and that was for $1,925 that was paid into the Shade Tree Fund.
Mm,
Second one was at 126 Butler Road, where $2,250 was paid into the Shade Tree Fund. So so we have a revised balance of $270,000. I'm sorry, let me say that again. $270,121.58 in the tree planting fund. And there were no changes to the other expenses fund for trainings and membership. So that balance still stands at $70. Any questions about the financials? Okay, we do not need to approve those, so we can move on. All right, so next we have under old business, commission requirements. So volunteer hours, everyone for our discussion at the last time we talked about this, you guys wanted me to let you know how many hours to put down for the meetings. And I'm asking you once again to please stay on top of this so I can get these from you more regularly. So for January, 2.5 hours, because I do round up. And February, 2.0 hours. And then I'll let you know what today is after today. And do stay on top of your other activities related to Shade Tree Commission on recording your volunteer hours. As of today, earlier this week, Connor sent me the rest of the information that I needed from the DPW to file our annual reports with Tree City USA and with the Urban and Community Forestry Program.
good.
And I submitted those. Well, I submitted Tree City. I've asked Anne Marie to get a signature from the mayor for that report. And then the other one is just submitted. Neither of them will go through yet because we're still waiting on documentation for the continuing education units for the DPW on the trainings that they took in December. So I will go ahead and submit those reports, but that is pending the CEU documentation. But at least we're that far through the door. Once those get approved, we will then be eligible to, well, first, which is really exciting, Tree City USA, this is our 20th year. So that's pretty exciting. I'm hoping there's a special flag that we get for that. I don't know, or maybe a special pin. We'll have to see what they send us. But that once all those are accepted in, we can also start looking for grants, applying for grants. And as we discussed last month, the first thing we might do in conjunction with potentially hiring an arborist is, or maybe not even with hiring an arborist, get a consultant to help us redraft our urban and community forestry program plan. So, that would include more specific tree planting plans around the township so that we could then apply for grants for the tree planting plans. It all fits together and we can't do one without the other, but we're getting closer to being able to do all of that once our grants are, or once our annual reports are completely in and approved. Does anyone have any question about that?
No, I can confirm that the arborist was brought up at the council meeting. So hopefully there's going to be movement on that.
Yeah, that's good to hear. What was it was just brought up? Was there any discussion?
I just know it was brought up and I'm sure there's discussion if
No, you weren't there. Okay.
if Jim was here, that we would be able to get more information.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a question. I'm sorry. Because of not being able to hear so well. You sent the reports, the CEUs in or something. I mean, there was Tree City USA and the Urban Forestry.
Urban and Community Forestry Program at the state. We have 2 annual reports due, one to each of those organizations. Yes.
You submitted both of them? Or?
I have submitted Tree City for the mayor's signature, and then it will be sent in, and Urban and Community was sent to them today.
Okay.
And neither of them will be formally accepted until we get our documentation on our CEUs in. Connor's working on that.
Okay. Thank you.
It took almost 4 months to get the documentation from the trainer last year, and they just had the trainings in December. So we're about at that 4 months now, so I'm hoping we get it very soon. And Connor is working on that. We have had communication about that.
Thanks.
Yeah. I hate Asian lady beetles. They're flying around my light. Ugh, I hate those things. Sorry. I start swatting. It's what it is. I'm not losing my mind. Okay, on to the next item then. Let's see, tree plantings. We don't have Connor here, so, and we're just at bud break, so I'd say probably next month we should be able to get some reports on the status of trees in the parks based on, work that we've done last year and the year before. So maintenance of recent ongoing projects, I'll skip over that. Although, Bob, you had said you were going to do a presentation on Middlebush last month. Are you ready to do that, or you want to put that
Yeah,
on?
no, I just got my phone working where I could export
Okay.
my pictures, so I will get that for next month for sure.
Okay, that's good. Great. Probably better to do that when Councilman Vasella and Connor are in attendance as well. So
Thank you.
So public information, education, we're down to item 3 under old business. I did not get any public inquiries. Chris, did you get anything?
No,
Okay, good. Website updates. I don't have anything ready yet. I was working on your annual reports and some preliminary Arbor Day stuff. So hopefully I can get to that next in the following month.
Sarah, on 3A, public inquiries, tree concern reporting process,
Yeah.
does that cover the hazardous tree survey, the information we've been trying to get from DVW?
No, that's up under, that's about just they're reporting out to us. No, this public inquiries, tree concerns, that's how the residents.
Just purely from the public.
Questions
Okay.
about trees, yeah, or if someone's trying to report a tree, that portal that they can go through.
Where, I know I had made a suggestion last time, month before that, where do we have that reporting thing from
That's-
DPW?
That's really kind of up under the grants, under commission requirements,
Okay,
because it was part of a grant. It was it was the, yeah, it was a grant that we got, so it's kind of up
Okay.
there.
Sarah, did we ever
Yeah.
open a meeting? Is there any public that we should open the meeting to?
Oh, I apologize. Thank you. I did skip right over that. Hold on. Yes, we do have public. Let me. All right, we have the Franklin Reporter. I'm unmuting you. I apologize that I skipped over you earlier.
Oh, not a problem. I have nothing to ask. Thanks.
Okay. All right, great.
hi, Bill.
Hello.
All right, so I'll just remute you. Good to have you on board. Okay. So let's see. Let's go to Arbor Day because I do need to get some information on that. So I put together the proclamation, the draft proclamation. I sent that to Arnie and Arnie and Chris to make sure that I had the details correct. But it's my understanding from a couple of emails with Arnie that Chris and Arnie, you guys didn't confirm the time of the event with Yinghua School, and you didn't confirm the agenda yet. Now, I need both of those information to finish the proclamation, as well as to prepare a press release and a poster. And Arnie needs that information to confirm with the council members who may be in attendance. So can you guys get that information figured out this next week? Talk back with Yinghua, find out if they want to have a student read a poem, or do they have artwork? I mean, what do they want to do with the agenda? We need to incorporate that and understand how the reading of the proclamation and the planning of the tree fits into that.
Arnie, are they responding to your emails? Have you emailed them asking these questions?
No, I didn't. I haven't been trying to contact them. I thought that was going to be done at this level, determine what time we wanted it, and then if we say 12 o'clock, we're going to let them know 12 o'clock. If they have a problem with that, we'll work it out. But also at this level, at our meeting here, to decide who is it that we would like to have read the proclamation. Is it a member of our committee, or is it one of the dignitaries?
And
I would-
in years past at our meetings, the Arbor Day event had gone from 10 o'clock to noon on a Saturday, and we have had the highest ranking council person read the proclamation. So the mayor has read it, and then I apologize, I'm drawing a blank. 3 years ago when we had our last
Crystal.
one.
I think Crystal was the last one.
Crystal Pruitt, yes, Councilwoman Pruitt, when we did the name in Williams Park, she read it, yes.
So the only person that I have confirmation, and I was hoping to speak to Jim tonight. Did Jim say he's not coming tonight?
I have not heard from him.
Okay, so I did speak to the mayor, and he said he would like to come. And if you say that and of course he is the top ranked official, so then he would read the proclamation.
If he wants to, I mean, if he
Yeah,
doesn't.
I will
yeah.
speak to him about that.
Yeah.
I've also reached out to Ed Potosnik. I haven't heard back from him yet, because that's his award. So I was going to ask him if he wanted to attend. Ted Chase said that he would like to attend. Was the past award person there. He lives there, and I think he was the person who originally got us in contact with.
Yeah, he was.
It's appropriate for him to be there. And then, of course, Jim, as our council liaison. I was hoping to catch up with him tonight, but if not, then I will catch up with him after the meeting sometime. But are you saying then that typically this occurs at 10 a.m. to noon?
That's correct. That's what it has in the past. But if that doesn't work with Ying Hua's schedule, if that's not what they had planned, if they have other people coming or students coming, that's where you might have to make an adjustment. But that's really up to you guys to do. You guys are the ones meeting with the people and making the coordination. So let us know what it is.
It's
Well,
ag field day.
if that
too.
works for everybody else, then that's fine. When you say you're talking about us. So
Yeah.
I can contact the school, and or the person that Chris and I met with at the school. And if 10 o'clock works for them, if this is what the committee wants, then 10 o'clock to noon. And I'll confirm that with our dignitaries.
I would say,
So-
yes, that's what the committee wants, Arnie.
Well, we'll take a vote.
We usually don't vote on this.
Bob, do you have any concerns about the time?
No, I don't. It's fine. I mean, if that's agreeable to everybody,
Consensus.
that's fine with me.
Ellen, Stephen, you good with that? 10 to noon, fine. Okay, I really would like to know if Yinghua School wants to have students. I mean, that's one of the things we're doing is having with the school so that students can be involved. So what do they want to do? Do they want to, read a poem? Do they want to, I don't know what they want to do. I mean, when we had it, Chris, do you remember, and Bob, I think you were there too. Maybe Arnie, you were. I know Carol was. When we did the schools years ago, when we planted trees at the schools, I know that we read the proclamation. I know we asked some questions of the kids, but I don't remember any more of a formal program than that.
Yes, I personally did some interpretive dancing.
I'm sure I blocked that one for sure.
That explains why they won't return calls.
I've had
Yeah,
to go
that's
through
why.
2 years of therapy because of that.
That's why I'm not remembering much about
I
those
thought I made a
events.
great tree.
Now that you brought it up again, I'm going back to therapy. I can't believe it. I will reach out to our contact at the school, asking
Okay.
about, reading a poem or whatever. Our whole idea for doing it on Saturday, not Friday, which is the real Arbor Day, was so that for Saturday, parents who work during the week would be from the able to make it, and students would be able to make it with their parents. So that was
Yeah.
the idea for doing it on Saturday. And of course, this all also hinges on the DEPW getting us a tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm concerned
I'm not
about
worried
that.
about that. They always get the tree. And did you get when Chris? So Chris, you asked Connor about the tree. Did you also ask him about the bucket truck?
No, I did not. I will mention that. I'm not worried about the bucket truck. They can bring it out or don't have to bring it out.
Well, but it's nice to have it there, especially if you have kids. Kids really like that, and they need to wash it, so they need to know about it in
It always
advance.
goes over great at Franklin
Yeah,
Day when
it
that's there too.
does. It does. And
Okay,
as long
so
as we give them some
I
advance
will
notice, it's
email-
usually no
I will email everyone I emailed previously and add, can you please provide the bucket truck? And it's going to be 10 to 12 at the school. So I'll to let them know.
in the park next to the school.
We also,
Well, it's right. It's right. If you go in the parking lot, you're going to see the place. It's right between the building. If you're facing the building, it's between the building and the playground area.
Okay.
I will also
But the
mention,
other thing is we talked about was that the kind of tree. So hopefully we can get the kind of tree we told them we were going to get, which was a red October glory.
I
Yeah,
did put that in my,
they'll be getting it probably from Northern Nursery as they have in the past, and that is a tree that they generally carry, and that has been planted in Middlebush and in Naaman Williams and various others. So it's not hard to get. So I'm not worried about that. Just he needs to confirm that you can get it. But I drove by Northern Nursery the other day, and they don't have full stock yet. So they're probably just those places are just now opening up. So that's just the way it is. That's the timing.
okay. I
Yeah,
will,
when we had the tree sale, we were at the mercy of the weather. So when these things
Right.
come in from wherever they come in, when they can
Right.
get them out of the ground or whatever, that's when they'll be available. But I would
Yeah.
imagine
okay. Now I'll have to go out there and mark where we want BPW to
Yeah.
dig us a hole, because they have a machine that can go out there and dig a hole in 2 seconds instead of us with shovels trying to dig a hole.
Oh, yeah. No, they have always pre-dug the hole for us.
well,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
they're going to have to get that marked by the utilities anyway to make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
If they're digging the hole beforehand, we need to put something around it because it's a school where kids are and we don't need them falling into it.
Yeah. They've always put like a cone or something.
They
They're
usually put an
generally-
orange fence around it, Arnie. That's what they did last time.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'll
Yeah.
I'll fire off an email tomorrow. I've told Bob I'll let him know about the oak tree, because he asked me the question. I'll let him know about the oak tree, and then I'll also include in that email that we would to be well.
Okay. We haven't talked about that oak tree. We will under new business. That's
Okay.
coming up. That's
Chris,
coming
when
up.
you said you're going to fire off an email to Bob, you're talking about Vornlocker?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
Bob
Um,
Warnock sent me an email asking if we wanted the oak tree.
Okay.
That somebody had contacted the mayor and asked him if he wanted the oak tree.
So another thing that I wanted to talk about relative to Arbor Day, and I thought about it earlier, and I wonder what I did with my notes. Is what materials to put out for Arbor Day. In the years past, we've had a table, we've had big posters. They got ripped apart at the Naaman Williams event because the wind was so strong. We had Carol's soil samples, which got broken because the table flipped in the wind and crashed all the samples, if you all recall. That was quite the year.
Yes, it was.
So-
I remember that.
Wasn't that our last Arbor Day that we did?
I said, when we had the poster,
2019.
they got the soil samples that Carol
Right.
had gotten for us, and they've
Right.
gotten demolished. So what do we want to do for this time? We should have some information on the tables. I think, it'd be great if we have, and that's coming up on the agenda, the discussion about, the best trees to plant, or at least a do not plant list. We could have that information. We could certainly have information about how to plant trees. We can do another, instead of a poster on the trees that we planted in Middle Bush Park, we could do a poster on trees to not plant. Or we could do a poster on the best trees or the top 5 trees for the area or something like that. So I'm looking for ideas from everyone because it's only a month away. And we got to come up with, artwork and whatever, and develop a poster, and I'd have to get it printed and stuff like that. So, and our next meeting is just 2 days before the event. So I don't want to wait till that to have this discussion.
Okay, I saw a list of best trees to plant for birds, so maybe I'll come up with that list.
Well, we'll have a discussion about that in a minute. So, but I think having, okay, a list of trees. So that's one thing. What else?
How about buttons? Is there any way we can get more of those green buttons we had one year? Those were great.
I took those off of a table at a conference. They had leftovers, so no.
The
Those were
ones that
free.
say, "I
You
like
can
ice,"
buy
you mean?
stuff like that, but they're
Yeah.
not cheap. They're expensive. I think they're expensive.
Well, I mean, kids love takeaways and stuff like that, and that would be a great reminder.
Um,
Have you gotten confirmation from Alex whether we're getting the trees or not?
I didn't, did you? I thought you said you had, no?
No.
Okay, I'll follow up with Alec. Yeah, because I have your email that you sent to him. I'll follow up with him.
Okay.
So list of trees to plant, not to plant. We can certainly do another sign on the blue tags. These damn bugs, get off my table.
You want a past poster of trees that we've sold in the tree sales? Say this is one of the things that Shade Tree Commission does. It's very colorful.
Sure.
Okay. I think I have one or two around.
Okay.
A little bit of bragging rights for us.
I can certainly do those little business card things that I did in the past that had our website on one side and something, I think it had something about Emerald Ash on the other or something.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, something like that. We can put up a little table card on spotted lanternfly. What else?
Tree
Yeah,
cookies. Do we
something
have
like
tree
what's in our
cookies?
forest these days.
What do you mean by that? Bears? Fox?
No, spotted lanternfly,
Yeah, okay. EAB.
EAB, right, and just have pictures of them.
Okay. Did you say something, Ellen?
Do we still have the tree cookies? Or
We do. We still have the tree cookies and the prunable, the how not to prune a branch. Good.
those are good for
Yeah.
um, conversation starters.
Yep. Very good. Good ideas. Thanks for reminding me. That's in a box in the back of my closet. I haven't pulled that thing out yet.
I got a chainsaw I can bring.
We'll have a flag in our banner. What was that, Bob?
I got a chainsaw I could bring.
I have a hockey mask that he can wear while he's holding it.
I think everyone else should be wearing the hockey mask. All right, so that's good. That gets a lot of stuff. What else, Alan?
Well, no, if you're talking about the spotted lanternfly, maybe I don't know what you want to do, but quick way to identify the tree of heaven as opposed to the other, like sumac or what is it that it also looks like? Not walnut, but is there a quick and easy leaf
Okay.
ID?
Yeah, I think I do have a piece of information that shows the trees that are the host plants and what they look like. So I'll see if I can dig that up.
Are those posters readily available from New Jersey? You know,
Well,
these are
everything's in
ready-made.
like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper from New Jersey. We have
Okay.
to blow them up, which
Okay.
we can do that.
Right.
Stephen, anything from your core training that would be useful for us to talk to people about, put on our information table?
There's a couple of brochures they have on how to plant a tree, how to care for a tree. There's the list of what trees to select. I think those were all, we probably don't need a ton of them, but a handful of those for maybe a homeowner who comes up to us and asks hey, I just bought a house. What kind of a tree should I plant? We'll have a couple of
Great.
those. And they have a
Great.
pruning guide as well. It'll be a little
Excellent.
late. By the end of April, it's a little late for pruning.
It is too late for printing. We probably should hold that off the table so people don't use that right away. And
Yeah.
that would be good though to bring back up in the fall. Like if we do Franklin Days, that would be a good one to put on the table at Franklin Days. So, okay, so if everybody could, this is some great ideas you've thrown out. If you threw one of those ideas out, send me links or send me a copy of something, or tell me where to find it if you can't do that yourself. And I'll send some reminder emails and we'll get some stuff going. And then obviously, we're going to need people to be at the event. So think about that, your availability to participate. And 'cause I think I'm not around, so I have to double check that. I was supposed to be in Amsterdam. I don't think that's going to happen though, but I might do a consolation trip. So, I mean, anyway, just I'll be bugging you for availability so that we have at least 3 or 4 people there to answer questions, to help with the trees, to help with the dignitaries. And so we look like we know what we're doing. Any other ideas or questions?
Have you ever been to Amsterdam before?
Sorry?
Have you ever been to Amsterdam before?
Yes.
Okay. Look out for the bicycle riders.
Yes. Okay, so that's it on Arbor Day. Thank you all for participating in that discussion. Franklin Times is next on the agenda. I got an article in on Arbor Day, that we're having an event, and check this website for details. So I'll make sure that we have the details on the website, and then we'll do an email blast once we get all the details put together on Arbor Day to follow up on that. Bob had sent me, we had talked about the idea of doing a piece on what the Shade Tree Commission is and how we got here. And Bob sent me some information, and I tried very hard to make that into an interesting article. And I decided it just wasn't.
Bye.
So I didn't submit it. I just, I was putting myself in the chair of the readers of the Franklin Times, and I was just like, I don't care what ordinance created the Shade Tree Commission. And I don't care, why we're there. I think, what we want to say about trees and what the township is doing with trees is a lot more interesting to the residents. But
Sure.
I got the information that Bob sent me and the kind of stuff that I dug up trying to create an interesting article would make a really good read on the website. What's our mission? Why are we here? What other organizations do we work with? What is our connections with them? So I think that's something that can be developed for the future. So the only piece we have in the Franklin Times coming up is the announcement on Arbor Day. That said, our next deadline is August 1st for Franklin Times, and that will be for a mid to late September issue. So just be thinking about that, and I'll bring it up at the next meeting for ideas and topics, and we can have a couple months to develop a good article.
Sarah, do we know when that's going to be published, the Franklin Times?
The current issue?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I have not seen, they usually come back to me with a draft to confirm what we submitted, and then it usually comes out a couple weeks after that. So
Okay.
I haven't seen anything yet.
So the Arbor Day event, we are
It's
opening
supposed
that
to
up.
be before April, though. Yeah, it's supposed to be before the end of April.
Okay.
So
So the event is open to the public, to
Yes.
Franklin Township.
yes,
Okay. Are
Absolutely.
we getting any information out maybe ahead of time to get to schools, the elementary schools or anything like that?
I
So
have
we
a
kind of
press
get a little bit
release
of a push from them,
drafted.
maybe.
I have a press release drafted, but I'm waiting on the
Okay.
rest of the information from Arnie and
Perfect.
Chris, and to confirm that we're getting the trees from the tree recovery campaign. before we put out that press release. And then
Right.
I'll also develop some sort of a flyer, but I don't know how we're going to get that out and about since we're going to be up against our next meeting by the time that happens. So
Okay.
I might be shooting some emails and begging for some people to come off their couches.
If you need some help with that, let me know. If I
Great,
can
thank
help
you,
push anything along.
thank you. Annual tree sale, do we want to discuss that now or wait till next meeting?
Sarah, can I just ask a question before we get to that, to get back to the Arbor Day event?
Sure.
You're saying that it's from, we typically do a 2-hour event from 10 o'clock to 12, but all of the dignitary stuff starts right at the beginning, right? I just want to confirm that.
We usually, people are milling around saying hi for about half an hour. It's what's happened in the past. They look at the stuff on the table, and then once we kind of feel like people have shown up, then we open the event with, formal welcome and do the whole thing. And then it only takes 20 minutes, half an hour for the whole planting of the tree and whatnot. And then we give out the free tree seedlings if we have them.
I'm
Right
just
after
asking
that.
for the purpose of the dignitaries, because I know they don't want to be there for 2 hours. So
Right.
if I tell them to get there at 10 o'clock, they can be out of there by 10:30, you're saying, 10:45, or should I tell them to get there? If I tell them if they get there at 10:15, that'll be fine?
I think so. What do you think, Chris?
10:15, probably to 10:45.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's their window. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
okay.
And then we're usually just there. I mean, the event goes from 10 to noon, but we're usually just there hanging out, chatting with people that come by late. Hand out flyers or whatever we got on the table.
If we get trees, we'll be handing out trees.
Yeah.
But
that took like 5 minutes last time we did it. People were grabbing them out of your hands. And then like 2 years before that, I was going around knocking on doors for a month afterwards trying to get rid of them. So it's just like, we don't know what's going to happen with that.
I will volunteer to take the extras and I'll put them into a nursery if you want me
That's
to.
good.
I have pots.
That's
I
nice.
can put them in like I did that one year and you
Yeah,
just
bring
have
them
them
to
to give
Franklin
away.
Days. That's great. That's great.
I know where
Anything else on that?
trees.
What?
Talking to Bob, sorry.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right, fine.
Want me to say one for you, Arnie? Okay.
Okay, so let's move down to the initiatives project. So landscape guidelines for developers. This is where we're going to talk about the list of trees that I sent out to everybody.
Annual tree sale. We skipped over that. We said
I
we're gonna.
asked if we would skip over that for this time. You
Yeah,
want to
we'll
talk
do
about
that
it
next
this
time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
okay.
that all right?
Just a word that when we decide if we're going to go with that, so next month we're really going to have to either commit, go or no go, because we have to put orders in relatively early
Right.
once we decide what trees are
Yeah.
there and what nursery we're going to go with. So we've got a little bit of research to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. So I sent out, so as we discussed at the last meeting, we decided to start with a list of do not plant trees to at least get that going. But in the process of doing that, you can't help but develop a list of trees to plant. I had just grabbed what was on our website, which is of the Word document that I sent out was the last section, which is some interesting trees, including red oaks and pin oaks, which are not recommended now because of oak wilt. Those are the red oaks are more susceptible than other oaks to oak wilt. And also on there is the tree that we've been talking a lot about is the Zelkova. And when you look at the do not plant lists that are provided by the New Jersey Invasive Species Strike Team, they go under a new name now, Friends of something.
Friends of Hopewell Valley Open Space.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's one of the trees that they don't recommend. They don't want you to be planting that anymore. So So thank you to Ellen. She had compiled that a huge spreadsheet. I did not send that enormous spreadsheet to you because it blocked up my email list. So I knew you guys wouldn't get it. So I stripped it down and just put in that list of the trees. She had done a survey of the trees recommended by townships around us. So that list includes what we've recommended: Highland Park, Montgomery, Princeton, South Brunswick, as well as the New Jersey Tree Foundation. And then listing the species that they recommend, and how many are recommending those trees. And then we have that do not plant list. So I think that's a really good start. What I'd like to do is, for tonight, this is an ongoing project. This is not done today. We're not going to vote on anything today, except potentially the do not plant list, because I really do want to put that on the tables for Arbor Day. So that do not plant list, there were two sections to it, really. One is do not plant because they're invasive. They're determined to be invasive, and the ones that are asterisked are the ones that are on the Friends of Hopewell Valley open space, which was the New Jersey Invasive Species Strike Team do not plant list. And then a few others that we know about, from the spotted lanternfly, for instance, the tree of heaven.
Sarah,
So, yeah.
do you know for sure if that was the invasive, the strike team, or what? I couldn't even remember what that acronym meant, and I had to look it up and was reminded it was the Friends of.
It's the same people. It's the same people, and they sort of yes, they're. If you go to the website, they take you to each other's websites, and they're the same people.
I couldn't remember if it was the Native Plant Society that diverted to.
No, Native Plant Society is a different.
They're different.
It was the New Jersey Invasive Species Strike Team.
Okay.
Right.
That went to Hoves or whatever they've said. So, hello, Councilman. Good to see you tonight.
Oh, hi, the mute button. Yes, I apologize. This was like the week that I think I've had like 5 different meetings, but I wanted to get back here and get on. So I'm sorry I'm late, but if there's anything.
That's fine.
And at the end, I just got a couple of minutes to update a couple of things.
Great.
Thanks for joining us, Jim.
Yeah,
No problem.
thank you. We're kind of flying.
Sarah, can I hit Jim up for the Arbor Day thing now before we get?
Yes, please go ahead.
So Jim, we're having the Arbor Day event on April 30th, 10 a.m. to noon, and just hoping that you'll be there. From what I understand, the mayor is going to be there. And Chase, I believe, is going to be there. I've reached out to Ed, but I haven't back from him yet. So you don't need to give us an answer now, but it's something to think about. We'll be reading a proclamation probably sometime around 10:15 or so, and there'll be other activities. Sarah, if you want to fill them in on the other stuff that's going on, that's fine.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to ask. So just that you're on the topic, the proclamation, should I read that at the council meeting leading up to Arbor Day? And then you're going to read it again at the event?
That is
Yes.
correct.
Okay, so we're going to be in person next month, as I'm sure most of you know. So if you don't, we're officially in person. And I think this committee, because of statutory regulations, will have to meet in person. But Chris, Sarah, I'm sure they're going to confer with you about that. Because not to dwell on this, but certain groups will have the option legally. The state and councils give them the option if they want to meet in person. This group, because there's statutory requirements, I think for planning, zoning, a couple others, will have to meet in person starting next month. So we'll get to see each other. But anyway, the point being that the council meetings will be in person. I mean, we could do proclamations regardless, but I assume you'd want it read at the end, or would you like meaning the second Tuesday or the fourth Tuesday, the fourth Tuesday is closer to Arbor Day. However, if you want to get more promotional or, get it into people's mindset, we could do it the second Tuesday. It doesn't matter to me, either one. But Arnie, you'll need to, I think you had volunteered the last meeting to send the information to Anne Marie so that she can prepare it.
No.
I will do that. I can do
Oh,
that.
okay. I apologize. I read the
I
minutes. I thought
just-
it was Arnie.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's, I have prepared the proclamation in the past. I sent it to Arnie and Chris earlier this week or last week or something.
Oh,
They're-
yeah, I think I
they're-
said maybe.
They're just waiting for just a couple more details. Once we get a few more details about the event, then I will send it to Anne Marie, and I'm hoping to do that by the end of next week. So if she can get it in the works so that you can read it early in April, that's awesome. If
Well,
not,
that's up to the group. I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. There's pros and cons of
I
both.
prefer the second Tuesday, just because it's closer to the event and it'll be on people's minds.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Councilman, we also have an article in the Franklin Times, so it'll be in there as well.
And
And
that's-
April 12th is the second Tuesday, so that's when you'll be doing it.
No, I believe you guys, I'm gonna leave it to you guys to decide got a quorum, but I thought Chris had, said that the fourth Tuesday he thought was better, but
I
again,
thought he said the second Tuesday.
I said
Tuesday.
last Tuesday last meeting of the month would be the.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that'll be, is that, when do you do it? The second and fourth, Tuesdays of the month?
correct. And
It's the
I
26th.
can read a little advertisement, so to speak. A matter of fact, the last meeting, I don't know if anybody was on, the council meeting a couple nights ago, I threw out there, April 30th. I didn't talk too much about it because I knew you were still formulating details, but I said, we're gonna have an Arbor Day celebration and blah, blah, blah. And then I also mentioned that, and I didn't go into detail, but that your group was, this group was getting a list of recommendations, do not plant, and that people should take notice of it and, whatnot. And I suggested that there may be more information forthcoming and perhaps an article in the Times. Like, I kind of tried to just promote the stuff we were talking about the last meeting without giving absolute commitments or details. So I can do a little more promotion in the beginning of April and then do the proclamation at the fourth meeting. And April 30th, is that a Saturday or Sunday? Do we know?
Saturday.
This is Saturday.
Okay. Absolutely, unless my son has a competition, he's involved in high school sports. Right now, there isn't. But last year they had their entire season wiped out. So I other than that, I will come to your to the event, of course.
Understandable, Jim. Thank you.
Yeah.
And just if you could see me, Sarah, or when you do the final thing with Anne Marie, just so I'm aware and could be in the loop. And then I assume, as many of you as possible, it'd be great to come to the meeting. I understand people may not be able to, but will there be somebody there from the commission that would receive the proclamation? And then I'd prefer handing them the mic to let them tout a little bit about Arbor Day and the significance of some of these things you guys are involved with.
Okay, I will be there, Jim, but I'm not a good public speaker. I'll tell you right.
Well, I'm not going to pick and choose. I'll leave that up to you guys. So you could have a couple people chime in. Obviously, we want to keep it to under 5 minutes or so, but I'll leave it up. We got a month to decide, but whoever
Okay.
would like to, maybe a couple people. I just think it's good for every group, but especially this group that the public isn't as familiar with, to start seeing like faces and, somewhat getting back to normal. So, that would be a great opportunity, especially since Arbor Day is in August. But anyway, that was most of the things I had. The one other thing I could wait to the end,
Okay, great.
right?
Thanks,
Was
Jim.
there any other questions or things you wanted me to do as far as the proclamation or?
Just make sure we get a tree. Did you see my email?
Well, I'm going to leave that in Connor's. No, seriously, is somebody taking care of that?
We're going to confirm with Connor. It shouldn't be an issue.
I sent 2 emails to Connor and haven't heard back. That's the only reason I'm concerned.
I have no idea. I saw the emails. I kind of take note, like I'll read a little portion and then, sometimes not the whole thing if it's not specifically to me, but I saw that he may be out, I don't know, sick or whatever, but I would say maybe in about 2 more weeks, we can start to worry, but I think
Okay.
we'll hopefully get a tree. I don't have the township checkbook. I only decide how they spend it, but I'm not allowed to actually spend it.
Well,
But-
like I said before, it is a tree that's in some of our other parks. So push comes to shove, we'll just dig one up and move it.
Congratulations. I saw that some of you got your certification and are on the, I think it's Stephen on the cusp of getting some more. So that's great.
Tyler was in class too. He was doing us proud.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the other one. I saw. Like I say, I tried to read us these emails. Yeah, well, that'd be great. The more, the better.
He was very, I can say Connor did not interrupt the instructor. He was very well behaved.
Oh, especially staff. The more they get engaged, even if it's just a few of them.
Absolutely.
the more engaged
Absolutely.
in the details of trees. So I'll keep quiet. Go on. Proceed.
Okay. All right, so we'll continue on with the do not plant list. So like I said, that is the list that I would like to get done first. I'd like to have that on the tables at the Arbor Day event. So the list that I sent out, it's a working draft. And so that's what I want to discuss now. If we include all the trees on this list, some of the trees, is there a specific tree that should be added to the list? So the list came in 2 parts. One was the list of invasive trees as identified by either us, that we've talked about it before, or it was on the New Jersey Invasive Species Strike Team Do Not Plant list for New Jersey, and then a shorter list of do not plant because of other tree concerns, such as pests or diseases or poor growth habits for street trees. So does everyone have that list, or do you want me to read through it slowly?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Everyone good? So what do you guys think about the list that I sent you guys?
I have comment on 4 trees, and there are some typos.
Oh, yeah, there will definitely be proof.
Yeah. But
That's good.
also, is this going to be part of the landscape guidelines? Because it could be long. I mean, the trees to plant, I guess could be should be longer. And this might be longer. But is this going to be the exact list that goes into the landscape guidelines, or is this just for?
I think this is just a starter list. This is the list to at least get out to residents. It's a list to get out to our own DPW. It's a list to get out to planning and zoning and all, and just say, start here. We're working on some other stuff, but at least don't plant these.
Okay. So just out of practicality, I mean, for discussion, there are 4 trees: the mimosa, tree of heaven, the paulownia or princess tree or empress tree, and the black locust. My only thought on those is, can you even buy those, or are they just they are in the wild because they are invasive, but is that something that are those trees that we need to alert people not to purchase? Because can you even purchase them?
I don't think we need to worry about that answer to that question. I think it's just put them on the list so people don't do it. And I don't know if you can get them. Could you special order something? Probably. Could you dig it up out of a neighbor's yard and move it? Yeah. So I think just because it's not maybe immediately available at your box store doesn't mean people can't get it. So let's include it. If we think we shouldn't be planting it here, let's include it. And it raises awareness too. It's an opportunity for education as well. I would think my idea, and you guys can certainly weigh in on this. This is just the draft list, but I would anticipate that this list could be appended so that there would be reasons why you wouldn't plant these trees and include with the information. I think that would be a helpful bit of information to have, and reinforces the educational aspect that we can offer, or our educational services that we can offer as a Shade Tree Commission. So don't do it, and here's why.
Is
I
Zelkova
added
on
a
the
bunch.
list?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Is Zelkova on the list?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you want the typos now, or do you want me to just email you?
Email me the typos. That'd be great.
I pulled each of the categories into actually pulled all of it onto an Excel spreadsheet and I made a tab for every one of the categories. I also went to New Jersey Native Plant Society and I amended the list on the invasives. I took their list and put it in there. And I actually came up with one or two other ones on my own. I put it in there and I distinguished them with a different color.
What do you got?
One is yellow Buckeye. Another one's called, and I have this list, I can shoot it to you
Yeah.
later on. Another one is Devil's Walking Stick. Now that may be a shrub, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's a tree.
Okay. I came up with this one, bamboo. I said all bamboo, including the US variety, which is actually a species of the southeast.
What's wrong with the yellow Buckeye?
I don't know. It was just on the list. I'm going to do a little more research on each of these as to why they put that on there.
I
It
saw
may
that on the
be, it
list,
may
too.
be that it's not native to our geographic region, and then when you bring something in, it could take off. So
I know
that,
I know Zelkova's on the list. What is the issue with that? Is it really invasive around here? Because I know it's been
It's
planted.
an emerging.
It's
an
not really
emerging.
invasive, but it's useless to all insects. There's nothing.
It actually is on the emerging invasive list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
starting to get out.
it's way overplanted as well, and as Chris said, it hosts no insects, so it is a completely useless tree as far as native fauna goes.
Well, for that matter, calorie pear is great for native species.
Yeah, but it's also destroyed our grasslands.
Oh, of course. I
Yeah.
was surprised to see the cornuscusa on there.
Yeah. Again, I think it's the comment about it's overplanted and
It
Is
is.
bamboo on the list? Oh, I'm sorry. Is bamboo on the list?
bamboo is not on the list. Is bamboo a tree?
It's a grass.
It's a grass. Yes.
Yeah, so it's not a tree. So that wouldn't go.
Now, do you include things that I guess technically, although bamboo sometimes grows and looks bigger than, grows faster and looks bigger than a lot of trees, is not specifically because of bamboo, but if there's things that technically are classified as trees, is it not okay to put it on this list since we're trying to educate the public on
Well,
things?
I don't, that's an interesting question. I think, and I'm kind of of two minds of it. Number one, we could have a separate category of, things that look like trees but don't plant them, kind of a thing. But there's other organizations that do this work that have the do not plant invasive species up the wazoo kind of list. So I think what I think might be, and we're a shade tree. So I would like to keep this in our lane for one, because we're limited in terms of our resources and we don't really need to reach further than we are reaching. But secondly, I think it's an opportunity to let people know about other organizations too. So we don't have to put out a list. We can just put out information about another organization who has that list. So, I think of the Environmental Commission as the one to be talking about grasses and shrubs and flowers that we shouldn't be planting, not the Shade Tree Commission. So there would be a collaboration there. So that's
I'm not trying to take anything away from the Environmental Commission. I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm real interested in these subjects, and obviously you guys are more interested in shade stuff than myself, being on this committee. But in general, when you get a minute, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of people's attention on a subject, I would not put too much, I don't mean it's a negative way, but too much of the plan or too much optimism in them then taken it on their own to other levels and links and stuff. Like sometimes, oh geez, now I can learn what I shouldn't plant. That's a good idea. Let me check before. And then like they'll hit a button or look at your list or look at the article clip out of the New York Times, Franklin Times, far from the New York Times. And I'm just looking at it from a pragmatic way of trying to educate people and have things stick in their mind. So it'd be great, and there'll probably be people who might go through all of your here's links to look at this, that, and the other. But unless you think it really contradicts, and again, I'm not here to tell the group what to do, just to help move along and advise, to help that facilitate things. I just think, you may be able to get more of this stuff in people's mind, as far as planting and educating them on planting. So just the psychology of it. But again, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, I don't disagree. In terms of getting people's attention and an opportunity to educate, it's just I just want us to do what we do well first, and then expand a little bit. And I don't want us to get too far away from this do not plant list in an effort to try to get other ideas out there as well. Because I know it's going to take all we got just to get this list out. I'm just being honest, because I
understand, and you could always do kind of a hybrid of what you were saying, where maybe you don't put a bunch of different links, but maybe you just put, and here's a list the Environmental Commission puts out about greenery that are not designated trees.
Sure.
To kind of keep it as a dividing line, but that to make it to spoon feed it. And I don't mean that people are dumb, but nowadays when you got someone's attention, so maybe you do it so it's separately separated out, but really easy for them to, here's the Environmental Commission list. I don't know, but
yeah. This is my ignorance. Does the Environmental Commission have lists of plants not to plant in Franklin Township?
Just whatever is in the guidelines.
So just the landscape guys, nothing for the general public?
Not that I'm aware of now.
Okay. All right. That's too bad, because that would be something we could just copy out.
Well, we generally review commercial properties and mostly commercial properties.
Yeah, but don't you have a public education component to what you guys do as well? I mean, that's where you had like the bee seminar and everything. That was not for developers. That was just for people, wasn't it?
True, but as far as trees are concerned, the only time we really get involved with them is when we're
not trees,
plants.
Bushes and flowers and grasses. That's what I was asking about. No? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at our ordinance as it's written, Title 20, it says trees and shrubs. And our mission statement does not mention shrubs, which is on our website. The other one is an ordinance. It says trees and shrubs. So we need to strike, I believe, shrubs from there. Unless it's something way down the road we're going to do, or does that go with Environmental Commission or some other commission?
Well, if we're going to be rewriting the landscape guidelines, how do you avoid including shrubs?
Yeah.
Well, let's just take baby steps, guys.
Yeah, trees are first.
They're in there now, and if it's for developers, they're the ones that are going to be planting shrubs.
But we'll just stick with trees. If we want to do shrubs, we'll take on shrubs later. That's
Yeah, I do. I agree with Chris. Baby steps. Can we just? I just want to get the do not plant invasive tree list out there, and then we can go on to the next thing, because we started talking about the landscape guideline thing almost 3 years ago, and nothing has happened because we tried to do this huge thing all at once, which involves these questions. What's a tree? Do we talk about shrubs as well? Do we talk about berms? Do we talk about swales? Where's the line between what we're supposed to be contributing to this document and the Environmental Commission? And nothing has happened. So let's just get the do not plant invasive species list out. And then we can go on to the what to plant. And then we can then look a little closer into the language between our ordinances, our mission statement, and the document that was changed a couple of years ago that doesn't match the tree removal permit that's on the engineering website. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's not quite right, but I want to do one thing. I want to get this list done,
Yes,
and I
I
appreciate
agree.
everyone's support.
When we're doing I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I just wanted to, so if I mean, we can include yellow Buckeye, if everyone agrees it should be on there. See, that's the thing too. I'm not saying this is the list that has to be there. This is the list that we compiled for discussion. Bob has added yellow Buckeye, Devil's Walking Stick, and bamboo. Ellen, you're going to send me, you're questioning the inclusion of trees that we don't know that can be purchased, but they could be moved from someone's yard. So I think it kind of merits leaving them in there. But is there any, and Zelkova's on this list, is there any other tree on this list that that we don't want to include?
No, but I might include, it's Arbor maple. It seems to be being planted. It's not on here. Being planted more. It's a very pretty tree, but it's one of those maples that has a lot of samaras and seeds, and I haven't seen it on Do Not Plant list, but it is potentially really invasive.
On my list, I actually made another category. I made street trees because what we have here to approve for developers, which goes into a development, is not necessarily a street tree. Because
So that's the trees to plant, which I want
Right.
to do next time.
right.
Okay,
Can I ask a question about this list? I'm going to ask a question about the list or about people in general. Do you think people, when they're shopping for trees, they're looking under their Latin name, or do you think they're looking under their regular English name, like sweet
Common name.
Prunus avium? What do you think they're looking for? What do you think when they go to the landscaper, what do you think they're asking for?
They're
It
asking for the
depends.
common name.
The
But-
common
Generally
name.
they are.
Right.
Unless they're,
My point being that when this list is made, I would think we would want to have the common name
sure.
and- in alphabetical order and then the Latin name in parentheses after it, because I think it's easier for people to read it that way, to find what they're looking for.
And I'm happy to produce a list that has both list orders in it. That has on one side the common name first and on the other side the Latin name.
I already separated those out if you want it.
My only argument would be that the scientific name is the only constant, except those do change too. There are a lot of common names for the same tree. So,
I think they both should be there. Both
oh
names.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But
All
how
the-
they're listed, it's kind of,
So I think to do a list that's by Latin name with the common name in parentheses and do another list with the common name, Latin name in parentheses is the best way to achieve both of that and just make sure every tree is on both lists.
I
That's
like that.
exactly what
I
was gonna
agree.
suggest, Sarah, that's a great idea. So you're covered either way. You have alphabetical order based on one
Yeah.
being in the front of the other and vice versa.
Right.
I agree, and I'm just looking at the 3 elm trees that are Chinese elm, English elm, Siberian elm.
Mhm.
Start with elm, Siberian, elm, English, elm, whatever. Because again, it's the elm that people are looking for. They're not looking for Siberian or Chinese. So again, just
Sure.
my
Okay. I'm not going to set this in stone. This is a working document. I think to have something on the table at the Arbor Day event in 1 month time is better than nothing on the table. And we can revise it after that. If we decide we want to change the order, we want to add a tree, we want to take off some trees, we can do all that. We'll put a date at the top of it that says as of such and such a date.
Absolutely.
And that way, if we come up with a new list later, we can refer to the new list by as of date, and we can send it to people to say, throw out the old list as of and replace it with this list as of. I mean, we can do that. We can be flexible.
Yeah, I think that's great, Sarah. I'm
Good.
thinking about when we have a final document. I'm just looking at that point.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
So
But
you're
your
actually
comment
thinking
about
that part?
if this is
elms
what
and
we have
spaces-
for Arbor Day, then I'm fine with it. I'm just talking about.
No, this is just the list to have for discussion. It will be more, a little bit more detailed than this. It will be, if we agree that all the invasive trees on the first page are included, do we want to include the ones that are on the second page that are there because of other tree concerns? That is the white ash, the black ash, the green ash, the pin oak, the red oak. Do we want to include those on the do not plant list?
Yes.
I say yes.
Should we have all ashes on there?
Well, those are the three that are in our area.
Well,
We could-
again, nurseries can bring anything in, so that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Let's
I
have
can-
all ashes. That's
And
what I did on my list. I just put all ash down.
Are there others besides those?
Yeah, there's ones in the
Well,
mountains.
there's European ash. I'm not sure if that's affected. However, that may be on the do not plant
No,
list.
there were no ashes on the do not plant list for.
Okay, well,
invasive
there should be
species.
then. I think the gist is we're trying to get native trees on here because they are beneficial. And,
That's the plant list. We're talking about do not plant. Stay focused, Bob.
right.
Do not plant.
Well,
So-
again, if they're native and if they're in the US and they're not of this geographic area, there's probably a reason why they've become an invasive in this area.
Okay. But I also don't want to list every tree in the mountain states on our list. That's not realistic. I want a list that's just telling
No.
people. Don't-
Again, I went to a site that said these are invasive because they're being brought in more and more. I'm not
Okay.
going to other states.
you're gonna
It's
send
just
me-
that this is from New Jersey Native Plant Society. So I just
Okay.
went by their judgment. Herbert
Yeah.
Lynn did that, Dr.
Yeah.
Herbert Lynn.
I looked at his list. It was really long.
Okay.
Really long.
You want to see what I have? I can send it to you if you just want to look.
I would like to see it, yeah, but my concern is that I don't know that I can include it on the list that everybody hasn't looked at to go on a table at the
Okay.
event. But we could add it later, but send it to me anyway.
Absolutely.
So again, I have a list now that you guys have in front of you. I'm going to add, my understanding is I'm now going to add the trees that are impacted by emerald ash borer and oak wilt. So all the ashes, the pin oak and the red oak. Anything else?
Well, I think that's good, Sarah. Thank you. Nice work.
Okay, so I'm going to put that together. I'll send it out to you guys for another look. You guys, Bob and Ellen, if you send me your corrections and additional information, I'll also include just a sentence or two of why it's not to be not planted. It's
Justification.
invasive.
Absolutely. Yep.
Justification. Just a word or two. It's not going to be a paragraph.
Yeah.
And I'll send it out for everybody to review, and then hopefully we can add that to the table. Again, this is a starting document. We can always change it. We can add to it. We can make it, whatever we want to do with it. But
Maybe going, I'm sorry, Sarah, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Maybe,
go ahead.
maybe going forward, you set a meeting, once a year as a main discussion item for your meeting. You talk about, you review it and talk about a revision, or every 6 months, whatever you guys are comfortable with. But it sounds like it's good. This is the infancy of this thing, and sounds like a good game plan. I also wouldn't be too modest about putting on the top this list compiled through the efforts of the Franklin Township Shade Tree Commission, blah, blah, blah. And, it's up to you, but I wouldn't even hesitate to put your names at the top or something. People can start to identify. They got a great group that's here involved in everything tree related. So whatever. But if you're handing out hard copy, some people hold on to hard copy. I know I do want to collect
Thank
stuff that I may think I want at any time. But anyway, I don't want to add more work to it. It doesn't have to be a fancy document. I just think anywhere you could put Franklin Township Shade Tree Commission, Tree City USA, whatever it is. Sometimes subconsciously, it just kind of, grabs a little, it stays in back of
That's
people's
great.
mind. I'm
Yeah,
looking
that's
forward
great.
well, hopefully I'll be there to handing them out and taking one home, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, definitely you'll be on the list to receive the draft when it goes out, so you can. Thank you all for your input.
There are more trees on the recommended list that are also on the do not plant list besides the
Yeah, and
you know.
that really worries me, and that is actually something I wanted to ask you guys. So that recommended for Franklin Township, that's 2 lists that are on our website now.
Right.
And I would like consensus from this group that I can have that I can ask IT to take them down temporarily until we revise them. Are you guys okay with me doing that?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, on that recommended list, I took about half of them off.
Yeah, I'm not happy with what's up there now. It's a really old list, 2 old lists, and I think they both should be pulled down until we can revise them. And I can just put up a note that says lists are currently under revision, check back soon, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The do
Good
not
wording.
plant list is always going to be a work in progress because they're going to be adding more and more trees all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's
right.
why we date it.
Yeah, that's what we did. And I think it's also, what I'd like to do is put a little note at the bottom for more information about invasive species and trees and plants not to plant. Check out these websites. And then people can take that home with them. It'll be on the bottom of their list of websites that they can go look up other information on. So that would be New Jersey Invasive Species Strikes Team, the FOVA's website, and then the Native Plant Society. Are there any others that you guys think might be good referral? Of course, Tree Federation, New Jersey Tree Federation, and what else? Anything else?
No, I think that covers it. We can always add more later.
Okay, all right, good. So
Yeah, we also have to think of a mailing list. So once this update goes on to our site, what departments will need a copy of that? So
yeah, we'll talk about that.
and perhaps other commissions.
Okay. All right, so I'll pull this list together, send it out to you guys for fresh eyeballs before I have them printed up. I'll ask IT to pull down our current plant lists and just put a note that, check back for more information soon.
When you do finalize the list, and I apologize if I missed this before I came, is this list something that would be practical for the permitting department to hand out to any residential, not if someone's putting an addition on their house, but any new residential or commercial building, so that it's part of the packet of information that they get?
Absolutely.
The do not plant and the do plant list. Once you guys have officially made them and, I guess have a formal vote and whatnot, but was that part of the plan?
Yeah,
Totally.
Okay. Great.
Plan was to give it to
Go ahead,
Mark.
I'm sorry.
The plan was to give it to Mark Healy, an updated list.
By doing something like that, sort of makes it sound like don't plant these trees. You're saying that it's illegal to plant those trees.
No. Clearly, it would say, it is strongly recommended. I mean,
Right.
in fact, I said that when I kind of teed it up at the meeting the other night. I said, the things you should not, I think technically you can, but it's strongly advised you can't. This is you're gonna, to help people in their planting efforts. So, I mean, as long as you kind of put the disclaimer, are you concerned, Arnie, that it seems too heavy-handed?
No. As long as you have that disclaimer on it, I think it's fine. I just wouldn't want it to sound like that by just putting out a list with trees, a do not plant list, and that's it, do not plant, it sounds like you could get fined for planting something that it's illegal under township ordinance. But if you put the disclaimer on it, like you said, then that's fine.
I think just by putting the word recommended, do not plant list.
Strongly recommended always helps. And if indeed you guys are strongly recommending it. No,
Or
I'm
it could be an advisory list. I don't know. There's a couple words we could use on it, but
Yeah, advisory list sounds great.
yeah,
And
the thing that
perhaps we can always have a little blurb or something on there as to the reason why that it supports
Hey,
our efforts,
I built-
Franklin Township's efforts
I
to
built
not
my
have
house
invasive
20 years
species.
ago. I would have loved to have that list, I'll be honest. I built my own house 20 years ago. I would have loved to have a do not plant and a plant, strongly advised plant and do not plant list. I mean,
Are you saying
years.
you're not in compliance? Well, we have to come over and see your house.
Don't worry, anything that shouldn't have been planted probably is already died. No, I had some old growth trees too. I'm just saying that, it's not about how many, it's not about quantity. I know we want to help a lot of people, but if it
Right.
actually helps some people, that's great. But all right, well, whenever you're done with it, I gladly will help promote it. I look forward to it.
great. Thank you all very
Fantastic.
much for participating in that. Okay, so next we have a new business, which is the discussion of the Salem oak. Chris, do you want to talk about that?
Well, the Salem oak tree is, a seedling from a huge old oak tree that was in Salem County for years. They say 500 years. It could have been. The whole thing is the reason I want to talk to people is because where do we want to plant it and how are we going to take care of it? I was thinking the municipal property right near the old house there, far enough away, but there's space over there that we could plant a tree and put a fence around it. And then if it's close enough to me that if, I could water it once a week if the township didn't. That's what I was thinking of doing.
How
I
did
like
we
that
acquire
idea.
this tree?
What?
How did we acquire this tree?
We haven't
We
acquired
haven't.
it.
Oh,
We haven't yet. It's been offered to us. The state is offering Salem oak seedlings that they've grown up and they're offering them to municipalities on a first come, first served basis, just one seedling. But we have to get on it right away. Chris would have to let Alec know this next week if he wants one. But my concern was we could get one, but this is an important tree and we can't just stick it out somewhere and hope it survives. We have to have a plan for what to do with it.
No, if it's planted on the township, near that antique house on township property, I'll make sure it gets watered once a week.
It will probably be very safe over there.
Yeah,
If this is something that you want the most foot traffic or people to see it, we're doing an enhancement. I won't call it a major enhancement, but pretty big enhancement to the garden and greenery around the gazebo. They're going to start utilizing it probably more and more and setting it up. Someone's doing rain garden. I don't know. But point is, it's going to be really done up. I don't know if there's a section over there that you want to put like a little fence around. And I don't know if you were going to put a plaque or something indicating when the tree was planted and what it is. So it'd probably be safer on the other side, but it'd probably be more in the limelight because no one really goes over to the old house. So it's really just a matter of what the priority what you're trying to accomplish. But just throwing it out there, I can't give the order, but I'm sure I can help move along that they find a space over, in the gazebo area.
I would suggest you have a substantial fence around it. Something that can't be knocked down. I mean, this is going to be quite a famous tree, if you will, on Franklin's site. So that would be one thing I don't know if it would be an iron fence or something, but just something that would ensure its let's say longevity, at least in its early
Bob, we're
stages.
talking about where to plant the tree.
going to need a lot of room.
It's gonna get big.
We don't
I
wanna
think the
plant-
gazebo area is too small. I think someplace where it's gonna be give
I
room to
think-
grow.
Next to that old house, when it starts to grow, we can put a plaque on it saying this tree was from such and such day. And it's next to an antique house. That house is very old. The tree is from seedlings that were from a tree that was very old. I think that's more appropriate over there, Jim.
It's actually, as I'm listening to this and I'm visualizing it all, it may actually stand out a lot better over there and give you more room to put that fence around it. I'm just going to suggest keep it far enough away. There's nothing, I swear, there's nothing I know of in the works, but at some point that house may be moved or shored
I
up.
heard that
So
too.
just
Yeah.
keep it, I mean, as far away
Yes.
with that you're comfortable with, that you can find that right spot. So
There's
Which
plenty of
house
room-
is that? The old schoolhouse?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's plenty
Okay.
of room over there. I can make sure we're far away from that old schoolhouse.
I think that's a great idea, Chris. I think that's the best place for it, is by the old schoolhouse. Just a question, did I miss something, or have we been told what the historic the history of this is?
Yes,
I'm on the internet right now. I can talk a couple points here. They thought it was almost 600 years old. It was a couple hundred years old when the first Europeans landed, so it's been present and part of the culture since then. It is believed that Quaker John Fenwick, the man who brought the first English settlement to West Jersey in 1675, brokered a treaty with the Lenape Native Indians, Americans under its branches. Charles Lindbergh, in the spirit of St. Louis, flew over the tree as part of his American celebration from when he went from New York to Paris. That's it in a nutshell.
And the state collected seeds from the tree and have grown them up and made them available to municipalities around the state.
now, so everybody knows, Bob Warnlacker contacted me, said somebody's offering a seedling to the mayor, and I'd let him know tomorrow if we wanted a seedling. So I'm going to tell Bob, yes, we want the seedling, and we with his permission, we'll plant it near the old schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Can we make, this is a tree that's going to be around for many generations. We hope. Can we wait until we get an arborist to make sure that is the best site to put it in?
We can't wait. We either get the tree or we don't, Bob. It's first come,
Okay.
first served.
And it
But-
can be.
why don't you
it can
run
be
it
moved
by,
at some point if necessary, since it's just a seedling.
why don't you run it by? And I didn't want to get into the arborist discussion at this point. I was going to give you an update at the end, but since you brought it up, right now, we are, and I think a little bit more because of the recent activity and conversations with this group, we are utilizing more, I think, the CME arborist. And I until, and I'll get into it later, Bob's commentary about, that the process with arborist. But I think if you send a request asking, if you're concerned about the location or any other elements about the tree, that if they had any recommendation, you can maybe get a quick look at and feedback from our, because technically we do have an arborist on contract through that engineering firm.
The reason why I brought
Wouldn't we
that
do
up,
that through you, Jim, to have you contact
If
No.
you want to send to me, because this
Warlock or
won't hold
whatever.
it up. I mean, if it holds it up, then, forget about it. But if
I'm
you,
gonna,
if you wanted to send to me a request saying, this is important to our group, we're looking at planning over here. Could you, is there a chance an arborist could just quickly review our plan and give us any commentary necessary? We'd like to do it as soon as possible. I will bring it right to Bob and also talk to him offline about that. So,
okay.
it's totally up to
I'll
you.
send- Tomorrow, I will send both you and Bob an email stating we want the tree and where we would like to plant it planted. And please make sure it's protected.
If you wanted to relate to the structure, I mean, you would put a shade tree on the southwest side of the structure.
If there's room there, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And Chris, in your email, I guess based on what Jim just said, you would say, can CME clarify that this is, let us know if this is a good place to put it, what is their consideration of this?
I'll just
Absolutely.
say, can the township arborist verify that this is the proper location for this type of tree?
You may want to, without making it too involved, mention, if you have an idea of what you want around it, that may be something that PW may have some kind of thing to whatever encircle, or you guys were concerned about kind of having it fenced off somewhat.
I don't even know how tall this seedling is. Like, it's 12
I have
inches?
no idea. I mean, but I'm just saying that if it doesn't require any, fancy wrought iron fencing or something, that's probably something that PW should be able to.
I wasn't gonna say
facilitate.
fancy, Jim. I was just gonna say wrought iron with barbed wire on the top.
Electric.
Look,
Artie, come
you
on.
got a plan. It sounds good, and and he may even, Bob may have other ideas or knowledge about that area and suggest, put it here, put it there. Although obviously you want the arborist, for technical reasons, to have some input to, hopefully it's going to be there, like we say, for a long time.
Yes.
When
On
did
our
you play-
website, we do have a section for legacy trees, I believe. So wouldn't this be neat? We put that on there. This is a legacy tree in the making.
Yeah, I mean, when did you plan on planting it?
I don't know where we're gonna get it. We haven't even
Okay.
said we wanted it.
Gotcha. No rush. But this has nothing to do with Arbor Day. This is just a process separate that the state is.
You think so?
growing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of things to promote here. A lot of activities going on this spring.
It's
All right,
that time of year.
All right, so then that's it of new business. Anybody else have any other new business that I didn't capture? Okay, good. Then I'm gonna open the meeting again to see what happened to you. Hold on.
Is he still with us?
Yes, so I am unmuting our guest. Do you have any questions or anything you want to
Nope.
follow up on?
Nothing, thanks.
All right, thanks for joining us again tonight.
Mhm.
All right, so that is our meeting. There's a dendrology item noted on the agenda. At the New Jersey Native Plant Society Annual Conference, which was on March 5th, the opening segment was by Dr. Doug Ptolemy. If you guys haven't heard him speak or haven't read his books, you're missing something. He's really so knowledgeable about the interconnectedness between plants and living things. And he did an extraordinary session on the nature of oaks, he went through the different seasons of the oak tree and what the oak is doing in those seasons, but more importantly, how it supports the birds and the other wildlife that thrives off of it. And he talked about how, people have this perception that oaks are so slow growing when in fact they're growing like crazy underground. Once they get established there, then they shoot up. I mean, just all this kind of stuff that is really kind of very interesting to know. And he does it in a really informative and interesting way. The presentation was probably an hour and a half. It did not feel like an hour and a half. It
Right.
felt shorter than that. So the link is there. You can pull that up on your own time and take a look at it. He did a really great job, and that is the dendrology. And thank you to Bob for sharing that information so I can include it on the agenda. And if anybody has anything for next month, please send it to me. That is a great way for us to do dendrology until we have something that we can show and tell like we used to when people bring in branches or bugs or something.
Oh,
Salem oak is not one of those oaks that's on our do not plant list, is it? I hope.
No, I don't know. I don't think so,
I think
no.
it's still gonna do that plant.
A red oak or a,
Oh, yeah,
I
red oak.
don't remember what kind of oak he was talking
I
about.
recommend
Jack.
red
You
oak
know?
because of disease.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, it's still very informative about oaks in general. Okay, so that's everything I've got. So I'm adjourning. I'll take a
I'll make
motion.
a motion to end the meeting.
Chris, thank you.
Second.
All right, thank you. All in favor, raise your hands.
Thank you, Sarah, for running tonight's meeting. I appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome. Thank you all for coming, and I'll see you. I guess we haven't heard yet if we're meeting in person next month. I've not been asked to set up another web meeting though, so
No one contacted me, Sarah.
Yeah, I would talk to the clerk because again, I technically don't know the ones that have to meet in person and that process, or again, I'm just passing on what I've heard, but don't go,
Okay.
specifically on what I'm saying.
All
I'm
right.
optimistic that most groups will be meeting in person. And
Okay.
again, you may or may not have that option, but the clerk would know those details.
All I
Alright,
can
well,
say is that April 4th is the first environmental commission meeting in April, and we are meeting in person.
You are.
Municipal
Okay.
building.
Then we probably are. But as soon as we get a confirmation, Chris and I will let everybody know, and we'll see you one way or another.
You do meet in the council chambers?
No,
We
We
generally
have
meet in the large conference room.
Conference, the other one. Yeah, okay. I figured it was one of the two.
Yeah.
All
okay.
right.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Sarah,
Good
did
night.
you get my email? Did you get an email?
Uh,